Welcome to Tutorial Series 2 by Urban Tango Nights. In this series we are going to expand on what we taught in Tutorial Series 1, such as heroes and ochos. However, in this series we'll be adding moves such as Ganchos, Boleos, Pasadas, Paradas, and a myriad of other more advanced moves. This will still be at a sort of more novice level. However, these will improve your tango repertoire, improve your technique from those moves we taught in our previous series. Please refer to Tutorial Series 1 for techniques such as the technique for doing ochos, and also, even though this series is designed to be a standalone tango tuition series, there is no substitute to go into your local classes, supporting your local tango scene and dancing with as many people as possible, so we encourage you to go to those classes all the time. This is episode 2 of 6 in Tutorial Series 2 by Urban Tango Nights. In this episode we are going to be looking at Boleos, also sometimes known as Boleos. The word Boleo comes from the word bolas, which is a whip-like instrument consisting of 3 pieces of string with a heavy ball at each end, which is used to be swung around a cowboy's or gaucho's head, and then used to lasso cattle. This move requires a whip-like motion which causes either the follower's or the leader's leg to come up in one of the iconic kicks and flicks of Argentine Tango. Boleos can be divided into 2 separate parts, a back boleo and a front boleo, and then those 2 can be subdivided into circular or linear. Most common forms of boleos are circular, and we will start with those first, with a circular back boleo. So, with a circular back boleo, we want to cause the follower's free leg to whip up behind and in a circular motion, which will look something like this. So, what we are doing for this is a side step to the left. This can also be done on the other side as well, but we won't cover those in this video. However, the same technique applies, just reverse my left and right. For my balanceo onto my right foot, I'm going to take a side step to my left, so my follower is on their right leg. What I'm doing now is to cause the follower's foot to come behind her. I'm going to lower my chest very slightly, which causes the follower's foot to pivot around to the side. And then, as if I'm going to take her into a back ocho, I'm going to move my chest slightly to my left, which causes that back leg to project backwards. To get the follower then to flick it up, I'm going to lift my chest. To get her leg back down, I'm going to reverse that motion, so I'm going to lower my chest, pivot her back around, ready to walk out, or even pivot her through into a forward ocho. So, for the leader, my movement is a side step to the left, get that follower's foot, a sink down, continuing my movement to my left, and then coming up. This should not be thought of as 3 separate movements, but more as one continuous movement of side step to the left, coming down, then up. So, as you notice, when I take my side step to the left, like we discussed in episode 3 of Tutorial Series 1, when we do a side step, my chest can go down, then up. This is the same sort of general motion, so I'm going down. The only difference is I'm adding this twisting motion to my left, so I'm going down, twist, up. And this causes the follower's leg to follow that exact motion, so I'm going down, twist, up. And then to come out of it, down, twist, side step, out. Alison will now explain the follower's technique as we walk through, or what she feels as we walk through this.
Yeah, so I'm taking that side step. I can feel that lowering down. I'm I'm still gonna, so I've left my leg projected out because I felt that lowering down. But I'm going to feel that continuous motion, so I'm going to bring my feet together. As I feel the upward motion, I'm going to come up onto my toes, and then as my foot comes together, that is when it's going to come up. But I'm also feeling that rotation. So I'm going to rotate around my standing leg. So I'm going to come together, pivot, and then bring that leg up. As I feel the pivot come back down, I'm going to pivot, bring my feet back down, and come out. It's really important as well to keep your legs together as you're doing this. So as I'm bringing those legs together, I'm trying to get my knee behind my other knee. So I've got no gapping in my thighs. And I'm trying to also make sure my foot is pointed and my foot is not flexed. This means the heel is pointing up, not away from the couple, so it's safer. As you can see, my foot is underneath basically where our hands are, which means it's safe because it's contained within the couple.
When we refer to safe, we mean in a social dance scenario, such as Milonga. So in a Milonga, we are moving in a continuous motion around the floor. And when we say contained within the couple, it's contained within the space occupied by that couple. So if another couple or even a solo person walks past, they are not going to make contact with the heel, therefore providing safety for all dancers involved. We should also point out with Boleos that the whole movement is coming from the follower's leg, not the rest of their body. So one common mistake that people commonly do with this is to move their head back with the motion of the leader's chest.
Yeah.
If you watch Alison's head position while doing this, relative to her body, it is staying still and only the foot is moving. So there's no need to take your head back. This will cause problems with balance. It may even cause the follower to fall backwards away from the leader, potentially causing injury.
Yes, the whole of this Boleo is generated from your waist down. Your top half is staying with your partner, staying solid.
We will now look at forward circular Boleos. Forward circular Boleos are very rarely done as a standalone move and often come from another move prior to it, such as the back circular Boleo. So we're going to do it from this point of view. And so for demonstration purposes, we're going to face 90 degrees to you so you can see what is going on. I'm going to take my follower into a back Boleo, so I'm going to take my side step to my left, go down so you can see this sinking motion, and then coming up and twisting so you can see the twist, causing my follower's foot to come round. I'm then going to bring her back down by lowering that foot. I'm going to twist her to face me, and as I do this I'm going to change my weight onto my right foot. This is not strictly necessary but does help with the balance as I twist my follower through as if I'm doing a forward ocho. So these moves are very, very relatable to forward ochos due to the pivoting technique. As you can see, when she comes back down from this back Boleo, she is in the pivot phase of a forward ocho. If I then continue to twist her around, so as if I'm going to take her into an overturned ocho, and bring my chest up, my follower's foot is going to follow that motion. She's going to come past herself and then up, and this is a forward circle Boleo. This is sometimes known as a castrogada Boleo. We are then free to be able to lead her out by taking her back down into forward position, so she comes into the forward cross or front cross position, and I can lead her out into a forward ocho. So Boleos not only related to ochos but also related to the front cross. And again, if you wish to recap on that relationship, please watch episodes 4 and 5 of Tutorial Series 1. Alison will now explain how her technique for this forward circular Boleo.
So I'm doing my back Boleo and making sure that I'm bringing my feet back together as I pivot, because I don't know what the leader's going to lead next. So he's now going to lead me, so I feel that motion around, so I'm going to bring my foot around, and then I'm going to feel that upwards motion. So I'm trying to keep my legs together, and I'm bringing my leg up and down my standing leg, trying to keep as close as possible. Again, making sure that my foot is pointed, so I can go up as far as I want to, and then back down, and I'm still in this position. You can undo it if you want, but in reality, you'll feel what the leader wants to lead next. And then we're going to project round and continue.
As Alison just alluded to, we can take this motion backwards and do a series of forward and back circular boleos. So if I take my back boleo first, take her into a forward boleo, if I reverse that motion by twisting her back, I can come into a back boleo and circle, and we can do as many of these as we like before moving out into the forward ocho, or we can even pivot her back into a back ocho if we so wished as well.
Always make sure, followers, that you do come back to that collect position in between each boleo, so because you don't know at what point the leader is going to then move on. This also means that your feet are together when you pivot, so you're less likely to kick yourself, which is painful, trust me.
Another common way of going into the Castrogada Boleo for the follower is from the Parada before going into a Pasada. We covered Paradas and Pasadas in the first episode of this tuition series. So if I take my follower into my Parada, so I'm blocking her foot, she comes into the block. If I lift my chest and rotate it in the same way as I did my forward circular boleo, her foot will come in front of the other leg and come up, and she's in her boleo position. I can then lead her into a Pasada by taking the foot back down and leading it over, and I'm ready to move on to whatever I wish, whether it be a walk or a forward ocho. The follower also has opportunities at this point to self-decorate and put herself into this boleo position as I lead the Pasada. So if I take her again into my Parada and get the block, as I go to lead the Pasadas and lift my chest and move it to my left, follower can pause, move the leg in front of herself into this boleo position as a decoration before choosing to follow the usual Pasada out. We'll use this opportunity now to give some exercises you can do for boleos. Boleos can be done by leaders and followers, so again, leaders should be able to practice this. We've already gone over the technique for leaders earlier in this video, so you can use this idea of motion while keeping your balance as your exercise. However, for the actual boleo techniques, you can work on your balance, so just going through the general motion of taking your side step to your right, making sure you're dipping down, then bringing that leg behind and in line and going up, making sure you're well balanced. You should be able to do this without holding on to anybody. So lowering your centre of gravity, making sure that foot is sweeping behind and coming up, making sure your knees are as in line as possible, keeping your legs together, and then transitioning between the back and forward, so pivoting on the ball of the foot, so your heel should be off the front ground while doing all of this, so that there is opportunities for you to pivot on the ball of your standing leg. In this video now, we will briefly cover linear boleos. These are less commonly used and are more of a feature of what people would call Nuevo tango, where the couple tend to come further apart and create larger movements. It's not a common move to be done in crowded milongas. However, if you have a less crowded floor or more space, they are good options to be able to have and can lead into other moves as well. They're also particularly well known in show dancing because they create much more of a visual spectacle. So like the circular Boleos, you can have forward and back, and we're going to start off with a back linear Boleo. This starts off in exactly the same way. I'm going to take my side step to my left. However, as I lead my follower to go down and then up behind, so she is bringing that leg behind as if she's going to do a back ocho and then coming up. Instead of staying in close and moving around my follower to make this a circular motion, I'm going to transfer my weight quickly onto my right foot and take a side step around my follower. So we've come apart, and this is why this is linear, because I'm now in line with my follower. Again, I can reverse that motion to come back. So once again, we'll talk through this. I'm taking my side step, dipping down, and then this is where it changes. As I twist my chest to my left and up, I'm stepping around my follower and away from her with my right leg. So side step to left, down, and as I come up, I'm stepping away from my follower and up. I'm keeping my right leg bent to support my weight, because it's where my weight is. My left leg is straight to keep a nice line, but I'm handling that together because there should be no weight on it. And I'm reversing that motion and come back in front. What the follower feels is very similar to a normal back circular Boleo, except the leader is moving away from her, which gives her a little bit more opportunity to extend the back legs. So Alison will now explain this.
So for us, for followers, this feels nearly the same until this point, when the leader starts to move away and you feel this kind of elastic movement. So this is the point at which your leg can then go back. So depending on how much movement you feel, either your leg can just go behind your other leg, similar to the circular one, or it can have a bigger extension back and then up, so that your knees are apart. Obviously this is a much bigger movement as well, so you really do need the space. But also make sure that when you are doing this, that you still bring your legs back together again, back to that neutral position before you move on.
We also have a similar motion for the front linear Boleo. However, this is more of a combination of a back linear Boleo and a circular Boleo, as we'll explain now. So again, it's not common to do a front linear Boleo by itself. It normally comes from a back Boleo or back linear Boleo. So if I take my follower into a back Boleo first, this is going to be a circular one. As I twist my follower around, same as before, instead of bringing her leg in front and up here, to make it linear, I want her leg to come out over here somewhere to my left. So to do that, I'm going to twist my chest to my left and up, and I'm just going to move to my right behind my follower, which is going to cause this motion. So I'm going back, and again I'm in the linear line with her. If I stay I can do this by staying still, however it gives much more gives more options if I transfer my weight onto that right foot to create the line, and it gives the follower more of that whipping action that we discussed earlier in the video.
It gives the follower a bit more momentum from that rotation, and then almost throwing the leg forward.
So for my back Boleo, this is what the leader should look like. I'm stepping to leg, going down, and then I'm stepping back and away. And then as I lead her into my forward Boleo, I'm twisting her to come to a normal position. I'm then creating this sharp movement to my right while lifting my chest up and to my left, which creates that whipping motion, hence the term Boleo.
Followers for that linear forward Boleo. So we've got our circular Boleo here. We're coming down, and when we feel that upward intention, our leg is coming up, but we've got a turn out in our leg. We've also got our foot pointed, so that when it comes up, you've got this curve in your leg, and then again you're going to come back to that neutral position. So you're going up and down. So make sure that you've got that curve to your leg. You don't want a straight leg. It's much more difficult to get the height, but you also keeping that nice curve to your leg and also making sure that you're still trying to keep your intention with your partner rather than trying to kick and open away. Make sure again that you keep your head on top of your body and you're nicely stacked in a good balanced line through that standing leg.
There are other ways of doing boleos in Argentine Tango by looking at momentum, but that's beyond the scope of this tuition series. Therefore, this is the end of episode 2, and we hope you're looking forward to episode 3. Thank you for watching this Urban Tango Nights tutorial video. We hope you are looking forward to the next in the series.
If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. Press the bell icon to get notifications every time we upload a video. Please follow us on social media and visit our website to subscribe to our newsletter. Links in the description below.